Hello and welcome back to Impromptu Thoughts for Westcoastmeshfighter. My name is Michelle and I thank you so much for joining me with this video. And of course, I gotta put this disclaimer out just because with every video I get a little bit more in depth with what I'm talking about, so I just want some discretion if you're sensitive to that, or if you have somebody you don't want to watch a video like this, but it's not like graphic like that. I wanted to talk a little bit today about mental illness and the stigma on it. Later on in the video you'll see some graphics. I think it's hashtag in the stigma, and I did not know that that had become a thing. So if you don't know about them, they're on Facebook. Find them, hashtag in the stigma, and it'll kind of explain to you, if you're not familiar, what that's all about. But with mental illness, that's kind of like a parent umbrella to all the different things underneath that mental illness. If you suffer from depression, that's a form of mental illness. Anxiety could be related from the depression, but it could also be from the mental illness itself, or what you're going through. And I just don't think that there is enough talk about mental illness. And so my video tonight is going to highlight some of the people in Hollywood, celebrities that, you know, deal with this every single day, and then how they're dealing with it. Unfortunately, we have lost a lot of people due to this, and it is an illness, mental illness together, especially if there's a root to that mental illness, and that root can come from anything. In my case, it came from having a medical device disable me, unfortunately. So the two kind of go hand in hand. My anxiety and my depression came because of my medical condition, something that took me about 3.5, almost 4 years to figure out. But what I didn't know is how many people are talking about it, but then how many people are not talking about it. And I noticed that it gets blocked out a lot, and if it does get talked about on networks, it's very minimal, and it's like in and out, and if you miss it, oh well. So it's kind of like, you know, your own guide within yourself, how you can try and overcome it. I don't honestly think that any one of us can completely overcome a mental illness. However, we can learn how to deal with it, and I think that's the part that's not being talked about. So here we are. For those of you that have gone through the settlement process, you're kind of like on my side of the fence. For those of you that are trying to go through it or are going through it, you're not really going to be able to figure out, unfortunately, how to deal with the side effects of the mesh implant until after you're done getting all the side treatments that come with it. And it's like such a tongue twister, really, trying to describe and talk about this, but when I realized I couldn't do all the things that I wanted to do anymore, that's when my depression set in. And then when I realized I was getting ready to lose everything, which I did, I pretty much lost everything that I had worked really hard for. I went almost through like a mourning period. And this graph that I've got here is just showing, as of a couple years ago, the death count for all of the mesh implants, and I'm sure that's gone up by now, because I do meet and talk to, not really meet, but I do see and talk to different spouses that have had, you know, to deal with losing their loved one because of a mesh implant. The other thing I wanted to highlight on is pain management. Boy, oh boy, what a complicated word. So I'm just going to throw it out there that I've already been to one pain management doctor, and after 4 back injection therapy sessions where they were trying to do blocks, SI blocks, etc., none of them worked. And yes, the FDA has put out a very high warning on medical mesh devices, but yet they're still out there. So as a patient, I just wanted to point out that we do have rights, patient rights, in each state and also in the United States. So I can just recommend that you look that up, become an advocate for yourself, knowing the laws of how we're supposed to get treated as patients is really, really important, because you can seem lost and by yourself and feel like all these different things are getting thrown at you and you don't know how to deal with it and you don't know what to do about it. As I go on with these videos and with my blog entries, I'm going to try to start doing like a timeline of sorts of how it all started, everything in the middle, and then towards the end, but in more detail. I'm still trying to figure everything out. Sometimes I really don't know what to think, and I'm left scratching my head, and then trying to find another avenue that I can go through to try and make it better. I can tell you, just with the mental illness side of it, doing this has really helped me be able to deal with my own internal emotions and then how I respond to things. And it's brought me out of my mental depression of the block. There's a block that you put up. Well, that's down now, and I finally made it to another family event. Unfortunately, it was to celebrate, actually, I'm not going to say that. Fortunately, it was to celebrate another life that we had just recently lost. One of my cousins, his name was John Aguilar, and I can tell you he had the greatest spirit. It didn't matter what was going on. If you saw him, he was always very professional, kind, generous, and he had a very, very amazing soul. So, the Westcoastmeshfighter, the blog, I know I'd been thinking about it for a while, and then I just started it, and it just keeps growing, and it's an amazing thing. Here comes the graphics about the stigma that I was telling you about. You can get them, they're like badges. You can get them on their Facebook page for free that I saw, and I wanted to post some of those here just because in my life, I'm 41 years old, I've dealt with just a little bit of everything. Depression, anxiety, social anxiety disorder, there it is right there. I have a hard time going to stores. I have a hard time going anywhere that's really crowded. I feel like the room is closing in on me. And that's where the anxiety comes in. So I have to be a lot more careful. I have to take care of myself. And that doesn't make it a bad thing. And sometimes I can't always go to things, and I can't always do what I wanted to do just because. So I've had to learn to live with limits. Here's an example of the Stigma campaign. I took this straight from Google, and I've seen this graphic so many times. I know that hopefully it's true. Morgan Freeman has fibromyalgia, and he was, with us from the beginning. I had fibromyalgia very early on, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But, just kind of remembering that at the bottom of everything, we are still people with feelings. And it doesn't make you a weak person to ask for help. It doesn't make you a weak person to know that you need help. There's another person that I just lost a couple of years ago. She's family to us. I've been with her for over 10 years, like a baby sister to me, and unfortunately she too struggled with mental illness and had a lot of demons, and unfortunately we lost her a couple of years ago, but her spirit is very much still with me. I just wanted to say, wrapping up, that I'm so internally grateful for everybody, the support that I'm getting, not just online, but I'm getting more family support. I'm starting to come out. So you're not alone. I know I've been saying that from the beginning. This new Stigma, I'm going to start jumping on that and making sure that my brand at Westcoastmeshfighter, we stand for human rights. And I want to thank YouTube for letting me do these amazing videos, also all the social networks for letting me blog and talk about these hard discussions that come with having a chronic pain condition, and you're dealing with doctors, and you're dealing with families, and then you're dealing with trying to pick up the pieces of your life that broke. And I just look at it as a new beginning. So everybody that knows me knows I'm a big dreamer, and here it comes. Bam. I really want this. I know it's probably never going to happen, but it's fun to dream. So this would be the room of the week. And I got a couple comments off the internet regarding our medical facilities and our health care, so I'm going to leave that to you. God bless. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next week with a new vlog. And if you have any ideas, questions, comments, please like the video below. Right down there in the comments, comment me, let me know what you think of these videos. Any new things that I can learn would be great, because I'm an amateur and I'm brand new. Thank you so much, and God bless. If you or anybody that you know suffers from mental illness, please, you can save a life. Don't wait until it's too late. You are not alone. There is a suicide hotline available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always a way. Just believe.